Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Hobby Dude 007 channel. Our transmission is finished and it's time to get this hot rod flathead put together. Let's get started. Hey guys, before we get on to that flathead, quick shop card shout out to Bob over at Bobo's Model Fab Works. Scientifically proven by no one. That's right, buddy. We build for ourselves. Is this not a cool shop card? And it really tells the story of who we are. We're model builders. And here's some models being built. How about that? Love it. Up on the jacks. They're underway. Listen, if you haven't checked out Bob's channel, head on over and do that. Bobo's Model Fab Works. His last video, I think it was the last one, really awesome. If you've ever noticed on some of the old school hot rods, underbodies or under the hood, the raw fiberglass, he shows a simple technique of how to replicate that, and it's ingenious. As soon as he mentioned what he was using, I'm like, wow, now that's a great idea. So head on over and check that out. If you're old school on the old fiberglass bodied funny cars or the hoods, you got to see it. It's really great. Bob, thank you so much for the more than kind, very kind words on the back of encouragement. I appreciate that more than you know, my friend. Guys, show him some love. Head over, give him a sub, like I said, and check out some of his videos. Okay, let's get over to that flathead. Thanks again, Bob. Okay, guys, so we've got our Shapeways 3D printed engine. We've got our aluminum, machined aluminum flatheads, and I'm going to go ahead and start test fitting some of this. As you may remember in the first video, I showed you where I had to add this little piece up here because of these oversized heads. And you can see where I've sanded on a little bit. I shot them with just a little bit of primer first, and I'm going to go ahead and start test fitting stuff and making my adjustments. And after that, we're going to go ahead and get everything primed. And by the way, these pulleys that came with it, we are as great as they look. And if you remember, they've got all of the pulleys in there. And I was going to do the engine color too, but I'm itching to use another set of parts by parts machined aluminum pulley set. So we'll be doing that. Our carburetors, I decided since I was going to do one set, I'd just go ahead and do a second one for later. These are the Stromberg 97s, and I'm doing two sets of those. I'll have one painted for later as well. And got these, found these on eBay. These are 3D printed headers for a flathead. Oops. So we're going to go ahead and get everything primed and basic assembly done. Everything primed, and we'll be right back. Okay guys, we've got everything primed. Our basic assembly was done. As you see, the motor mounts on the engine here and here. And I think I'm going to drill out these lower water ports. Also, you can see where I drilled the hole for the Harman Collins magneto and the holes for the pulleys. And I tell you what, there's just a couple things I want to do in the basic assembly. I went ahead and put the brackets for the pulleys and this lower section for the bell housing on here, and of course the oil pan. There's a little trash in the primer right here on the oil pan, so I'm going to be sanding that back off again. And let's check our pulleys again. We'll put our harmonic balancer, our lower one, on here. And what I want to do is just make sure I've got a straight line. So when I put the belt on, it's going to be, and of course I've got the generator that'll be on there too. I'm going to look down through there. Yeah, all of our pulleys here are lined up, and they're loose fit in there, so they're not glued in, so they'll be falling off. I'll straighten that one just a touch there. Oh, it just wasn't all the way in. So this looks good, and in most sub-assemblies, at least for me, I always have something. You remember in the transmission video, I broke that little tab off, the little ear off, and had to, let me grab it here real quick, and had to replace one of the four pieces here. Had to make a new piece and put it on there. And I don't think the light's kind of in the way. But anyway, same thing with the engine. I've got a little problem here. The right side header pipe, well, it came off my toothpick there. As you can see, I've got a split in it. So I'm going to clean that up, and there's also the lower portions kind of the brackets gone, so I'm going to make a little piece for that too, and then I'll fix that. Primer went on really smooth. There was one little spot on one of them, there it is right there, that had a little rise in it, and other than that, they're both really smooth. I think these are going to look good. I think I'm going to put chrome on them and then do some heat staining right coming out of the heads. And of course the intake where our oil filler back here and the three carburetors are going to go. Everything looks good. There's that bell housing, and it's going to be the engine block color, and I'm going to go with to me a bright red on this. I've seen a number of pictures that were they called them hot rod red or bright hot rod red, so I think that's what I'm going to do with this, kind of like what I did in the 40 Ford sedan delivery. And the carbs look really good, so you can see where the, well, I hope you can see where the fuel lines will go in. And I went ahead and took, I think it was a number 78 drill bit, and kind of cleaned those out a little bit more, and then you can see down there where the linkage rods are going to go in, and that's on both sides because you got the linkage on the other sides too. So well, the throttle linkage on the side where the fuel line is, and then the other side's got the other linkage. And so these, I think these are going to look pretty good. And let's see, was there something else? No, I think that's it for right now. I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, sand this little trash out of the bottom down here, and I got one spot on one of the headers I'm going to fix, as well as repair this little chunk that's come apart, and a little ear that's missing there. And then we're going to get some color on it. Stick around. Hey guys, a quick bonus and a tip real quick. If you remember in my last video on the transmission, how clogged up the filter in my paint booth was, as well as the pizza box I paint on. I saved these pizza boxes, and I've got so many I throw them away now. And the thing I like about these is it protects the surface underneath, but you see these little tabs right here? These things, the pizza box fits perfect right between them. So I try to keep this thing as clean as I can. That doesn't always work out, but if you have one of these and you order the filters, you know how expensive they can get. My wife is a quilter, so we use quilting back. Hold on just a sec, let me grab this stuff. Okay, this is quilting. Let me back up here a little bit. Quilting batting, and this is the medium weave. It's not really that thick, but it is an awesome filter. Been using it for a long time, and guys, this stuff is cheap. And I cut about 3 layers and put them in there. I cut them to the original size of the filters, and I keep one, so I've got my size in there all the time. And like I said, there's about three layers in there, I think. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 layers. And it pulls great, and it like I said, it's a whole lot cheaper to use than a lot of the filters that you would have to reorder from this. But cool, huh? So I cleaned it up a little bit, changed out the filters, and that other pizza box has been in here for over a year, so they last a while. So got a fresh box. We're nice and cleaned and wiped down, so we're ready to paint. But I want to share that with you. So if you've got a paint booth like this, really any paint booth, grab you some quilting batting and build you up a filter. Works great. Okay, guys, let's get some paint on. All of our components for the engine are painted. There is our bell housing, and this is in that Tamiya TS49 bright red. I think that's great for a hot rod motor. And the engine is the same. Got a really good finish on that. And nice little hot rod motor. The carburetors I am tickled to death with. By the way, on carburetors I use All-Clad 2 pale burnt metal. Get these things where you can see them. Pale burnt metal, and it has just the right amount of goldish greeny. I'm not sure what you'd call that, but it's, like I said, it's pale burnt metal, ALC 104. And keep in mind too, this doesn't even have a wash on it yet, but from the gloss black base, check that out. I think these turned out really, really well. I am really liking those carbs. The intake I did in All-Clad polished aluminum, which is ALC 105. I think that's going to look good against those carbs. Give it a good contrast. The Harman Collins Magneto base is All-Clad stainless steel, ALC 115. And as you can see there, that's a, well, I got too many shadows going on. A good base. And the headers are the All-Clad chrome ALC 107. But I think they turned out really well. And these are going to get some heat stain treatments coming out of the heads and maybe in a little bit of the joints. And I'll be using some of All-Clad's newest stuff, which is the hot metal colors. The hot metal violet and hot metal yellow are the two I want to probably use on these. And I also want to use, they've got one called burnt carbon, and I'm going to airbrush probably a higher pressure just around the edge up here of the pipe too. But I think these turned out really well. Look at that chrome up against that. Oh, that's going to look good. That's going to look good. Or at least right now I think it did well. And keep in mind too, guys, it's not too late. Let me take the camera down here a minute. The show this weekend, the 20th in Clemens, North Carolina. It's not too late to make plans to come on out and meet us. The sponsor is, again, Wes's Model Car Corner, the Carolina Custom Modeler Summer Classic. This thing is always a great show. I look forward to it every year. It and Atlanta are probably my top two right now. And, of course, again, Flatheads being the theme, so that's what this is for. And it'll be a good time. There's always tons of vendors, always a class show that the guys put on there. So it's not too late. Like I said, make your plans. Well, guys, that's it for tonight. I'm going to call it. This video is getting a little long, so we're going to finish it up in part 2. And we'll get all the wiring and linkage and all that stuff done. And I'll start that probably here in just a few minutes. But I didn't want to get this too long, so that's it. Guys, if you're not a subscriber, head over, hit that subscription button. That's the best way to help us out if you want to. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Leave a comment. I enjoy reading your comments, guys. That's it for now. God bless. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next day or so. Take care, guys.